Christ is risen. Christos anesti. Christos voskrese. El Mesih kom. Ha Mashiach kom. Christus resurrexit. Cristo ha resucitado. Christos anviat. Christi uniao. Aristosu fukatsu. Hidu fuhola. Christo buahashane. 2 Kings, 2 Samuel in Hebrew, chapter 16 through chapter 18, verse 18. And David passed on a little way from Ros, and behold, Seba, the servant of Mephibosheth, came to meet him. And he had a couple of asses laden, and upon them 200 loaves, and 100 bunches of raisins, and 100 cakes of dates, and a bottle of wine. And the king said to Seba, What meanest thou by these? And Seba said, The asses are for the household of the king to sit upon, and the loaves and the dates are for the young men to eat, and the wine is for them that are faint in the wilderness to drink. And the king said, And where is the son of thy master? And Seba said to the king, Behold, he remains in Jerusalem. For he said, Today shall the house of Israel restore to me the kingdom of my father. And the king said to Seba, Behold, all Mephibosheth's property is thine. And Seba did obeisance and said, My lord, O king, let me find grace in thine eyes. And King David came to Bahurim, and behold, there came out from thence a man of the family of the house of Saul. His name was Semei, the son of Gera. He came forth, and cursed as he went, and cast stones at David, and at all the servants of King David. And all the people and all the mighty men were on the right and the left hand of the king. And thus Semei said when he cursed him, go out, thou bloody man, and man of sin. The Lord has returned upon thee all the blood of the house of Saul, because thou hast reigned in his stead. And the Lord has given the kingdom into the hand of Absalom thy son. And behold, thou art taken in thy mischief, because thou art a bloody man. And Absalom the son of Zeruiah said to the king, Why does this dead dog curse my lord the king? Let me go over now, and take off his head. And the king said, What have I to do with you, ye sons of Zeruiah? Even let him alone, and so let him curse, for the Lord has told him to curse David. And who shall say, Why hast thou done this? And David said to Abessa and to all his servants, Behold, my son who came forth from my bowels seeks my life. Still more now may the son of Benjamin. Let him curse, because the Lord has told him. If by any means the Lord may look on my affliction, thus shall he return me good for his cursing this day. And David and all the men with him went on the way. And Semei went by the side of the hill next to him, cursing as he went, and casting stones at him, and sprinkling him with dirt. And the king and all the people with him came away and refreshed themselves there. And Absalom and all the men of Israel went into Jerusalem, and Ahithophel with them. And it came to pass when Cusi, the chief friend of David, came to Absalom, that Cusi said to Absalom, Let the king live. And Absalom said to Cusi, Is this thy kindness to thy friend? Why wentest thou not forth to thy friend? And Cusi said to Absalom, Nay, but following whom the Lord and this people and all Israel have chosen, his will I be, and with him will I dwell. And again, whom shall I serve? Should I not in the presence of his son? As I served in the sight of thy father, so will I be in thy presence. And Absalom said to Ahithophel, Deliberate among yourselves concerning what we should do. And Ahithophel said to Absalom, Go unto thy father's concubines, whom he left to keep his house. And all Israel shall hear that thou hast dishonored thy father, and the hands of all that are with thee shall be strengthened. And they pitched a tent for Absalom on the roof, and Absalom went into his father's concubines in the sight of all Israel. And the counsel of Ahithophel, which he counseled in former days, was as if one should inquire of the word of God. So it was all the counsel of Ahithophel, both to David and also to Absalom. And Ahithophel said to Absalom, Let me now choose out for myself 12,000 men, and I will arise and follow after David this night. And I will come upon him when he is weary and weak-handed. And I will strike him with terror, and all the people with him shall flee. And I will smite the king only of all. And I will bring back all the people to thee, as a bride returns to her husband. Only thou seekest the life of one man, and all the people shall have peace. And the saying was right in the eyes of Absalom, and in the eyes of all the elders of Israel. And Absalom said, Call now also Cusi the Arakite, and let us hear what is in his mouth, even his also. And Cusi went into Absalom, and Absalom spoke to him, saying, After this manner spoke Ahithophel, Shall we do according to his word? But if not, do thou speak. And Cusi said to Absalom, This counsel which Ahithophel has counseled this one time is not good. And Cusi said, Thou knowest thy father and his men, that they are very mighty, and bitter in their spirit, as a bereaved bear in the field, and as a wild boar in the plain. And thy father is a man of war, and will not give the people rest. For behold, he is now hidden in one of the hills, or in some other place. And it shall come to pass when he falls upon them at the beginning, that some will certainly hear, and say, There has been a slaughter among the people that follow after Absalom. then even he that is strong, whose heart is as the heart of a lion, it shall utterly melt. For all Israel knows that thy father is mighty, and they that are with him are mighty men. For thus I have surely given counsel, and all Israel be generally gathered to thee from Dan even to Beersheba, as the sun is upon the seashore for multitude, and that thy presence go in the midst of them. And we will come upon him in one of the places where we shall find him, and we will encamp against him, as the dew falls upon the earth, and we will not leave of him and of his men so much as one. And if he shall have taken refuge with his army in a city, then shall all Israel take ropes to that city, and we will draw it even to the river, that there may not be left there even a stone. And Absalom and all the men of Israel said, The counsel of Cusi the Arachite is better than the counsel of Achitophel. For the Lord ordained to disconcert the good counsel of Achitophel, that the Lord might bring all evil upon Absalom. And Cusi the Arachite said to Zadok and Abiathar the priests, Thus and thus Achitophel counseled Absalom and the elders of Israel, and thus have I counseled. And now send quickly and report to David, saying, Watch not this night in Araboth of the wilderness, even go and make haste, lest one swallow up the king and all the people with him. And Jonathan and Achimaeus stood by the well of Rogel, and a maidservant went and reported to them, and they go and tell King David, for they might not be seen to enter into the city. But a young man saw them, and told Absalom, and the two went quickly, and entered into the house of a man in Baurim. And he had a well in his court, and they went down into it. And a woman took a covering, and spread it over the mouth of the well, and spread out ground corn upon it to dry, and the thing was not known. And the servants of Absalom came to the woman into the house, and said, Where are Achimaeus and Jonathan? And the woman said to them, They are gone a little way beyond the water. And they sought and found them not, and returned to Jerusalem. And it came to pass, after they were gone, that they came up out of the pit, and went on their way, and reported to King David, and said to David, Arise ye, and go quickly over the water, for thus has Achitophel counseled concerning you. And David rose up, and all the people with him, and they passed over Jordan till the morning light. There was not one missing who did not pass over Jordan. And Achitophel saw that his counsel was not followed, and he saddled his ass, and rose, and departed to his house into his city. And he gave orders to his household, and hanged himself, and died, and was buried in the sepulchre of his father. And David passed over to Mahanaim, and Absalom crossed over Jordan, he and all the men of Israel with him. And Absalom appointed Amasa in the room of Joab over the host. And Amasa was the son of a man whose name was Jether of Jezreel. He went in to Abigail, the daughter of Naas, and the sister of Zeruiah, the mother of Joab. And all Israel and Absalom encamped in the land of Gilead. And it came to pass, when David came to Mahanaim, that Uesbi, the son of Naas of Rabbath, of the sons of Ammon, and Machir, son of Amiel of Lodabar, and Berzeli, the Gileadite of Rogelim, brought 10 embroidered beds, with double coverings, and 10 cauldrons, and earthenware, and wheat, and barley, and flour, and meal, and beans, and pulse, and honey, and butter, and sheep, and cheese of kine. And they brought them to David, and to his people with him to eat. For one said, The people is faint and hungry, and thirsty in the wilderness. And David numbered the people with him, and set over them captains of thousands, and captains of hundreds. And David sent away the people, the third part under the hand of Joab, and the third part under the hand of Abasa, the son of Zeruiah, the brother of Joab, and the third part under the hand of Ethi the Gittite. And David said to the people, I also will surely go out with you. And they said, Thou shalt not go out, for if we should indeed flee, they will not care for us. And if half of us should die, they will not mind us, for thou art as 10,000 of us. And now it is well that thou shalt be to us an aid to help us in the city. And the king said to them, Whatsoever shall seem good in your eyes, I will do. And the king stood by the side of the gate, and all the people went out by hundreds and by thousands. And the king commanded Joab and Abasa and Ethi, saying, Spare for my sake the young man Absalom. And all the people heard the king charging all the commanders concerning Absalom. And all the people went out into the wood against Israel, and the battle was in the wood of Ephraim. And the people of Israel fell down there before the servants of David, and there was a great slaughter in that day, even 20,000 men. And the battle there was scattered over the face of all the land, and the wood consumed more of the people than the sword consumed among the people in that day. And Absalom went to meet the servants of David, and Absalom was mounted on his mule, and the mule came under the thick boughs of a great oak, and his head was entangled in the oak, and he was suspended between heaven and earth, and the mule passed on from under him. And a man saw it and reported to Joab, and said, Behold, I saw Absalom hanging in an oak. And Joab said to the man who reported to him, And behold, thou didst see him. Why didst thou not smite him there to the ground? And I would have given thee 10 pieces of silver and a girdle. And the man said to Joab, Were I even to receive 1,000 shekels of silver, I would not lift my hand against the king's son. For in our ears the king charged thee and Abessa and Ethi, saying, Take care of the young man Absalom for me, so as to do no harm to his life, and nothing of the matter will be concealed from the king, and thou wilt set thyself against me. And Joab said, I will begin this. I will not thus remain with thee. And Joab took 3 darts in his hand, and thrust them into the heart of Absalom, while he was yet alive, in the heart of the oak. And 10 young men that bore Joab's armor compassed Absalom, and smote him, and slew him. And Joab blew the trumpet, and people returned from pursuing Israel, for Joab spared the people. And he took Absalom, and cast him into a great cavern in the wood, into a deep pit, and set up over him a very great heap of stones, and all Israel fled, every man to his tent. Now Absalom, while yet alive, had taken and set up for himself the pillar near which he was taken, and set it up so as to have the pillar in the king's dale, for he said he had no son to keep his name in remembrance, and he called the pillar Absalom's hand, until this day. Psalm 93, 94 in Hebrew, verses 1 through 15. A psalm of David for the 4th day of the week. The Lord is a God of vengeance. The God of vengeance has declared himself. Be thou exalted, thou that judgest the earth. Render a reward to the proud. How long shall sinners, O Lord, how long shall sinners boast? They will utter and speak unrighteousness. All the workers of iniquity will speak so. They have afflicted thy people, O Lord, and hurt thine heritage. They have slain the widow and the fatherless, and murdered the stranger. And they said, The Lord shall not see, neither shall the God of Jacob understand. Understand now, ye simple among the people, and ye fools, at length be wise. He that planted the ear, does he not hear? Or he that formed the eye, does not he perceive? He that chastises the heathen, shall not he punish even that he teaches man knowledge? The Lord knows the thoughts of men, that they are vain. Blessed is the man whomsoever thou shalt chasten, O Lord, and shalt teach him out of the law, to give him rest from evil days, until a pit be digged for the sinful one. For the Lord will not cast off his people, neither will he forsake his inheritance, until righteousness return to judgment, and all the upright in heart shall follow it. Pause. Proverbs chapter 20, verses 6 through 9, and verse 20. A man is valuable, and a merciful man precious, but it is hard to find a faithful man. He that walks blameless in justice shall leave his children blessed. Whenever a righteous king sits on the throne, no evil thing can stand before his presence. Who will boast that he has a pure heart, or who will boldly say that he is pure from sins? The lamp of him that reviles father or mother shall be put out, and his eyeballs shall see darkness. The Holy Gospel according to St. Luke, chapter 16. And he said also unto his disciples, There was a certain rich man, which had a steward, and the same man was accused unto him that he had wasted his goods. And he called him, and said unto him, How is it that I hear this of thee? Give an account of thy stewardship, for thou mayest be no longer steward. And the steward said within himself, What shall I do? For my Lord taketh away from me the stewardship. I cannot dig. To beg I am ashamed. I am resolved what to do, that, when I am put out of the stewardship, they may receive me into their houses. So he called every one of his lord's debtors unto him, and said unto the first, How much owest thou unto my lord? And he said, 100 measures of oil. And he said unto him, Take thy bill, and sit down quickly, and write 50. And he said to another, And how much owest thou? And he said, 100 measures of wheat. And he said unto him, Take thy bill, and write 80. And the Lord commended the unjust steward, because he had done wisely. For the children of this world are in their generation wiser than the children of the light. And I say unto you, Make to yourselves friends of the mammon of unrighteousness, that when ye fail, they may receive you into everlasting habitations. He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. And he that is unjust in the least is unjust also in much. If therefore ye have not been faithful in the unrighteous mammon, who will commit to your trust the true riches? And if ye have not been faithful in that which is another man's, who shall give you that which is your own? No servant can serve 2 masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon. And the Pharisees also, who were covetous, heard all these things, and they derided him. And he said unto them, Ye are they which justify yourselves before men, but God knoweth your hearts. For that which is highly esteemed among men is an abomination in the sight of God. The law and the prophets were until John. Since that time the kingdom of God is preached, and every man presseth into it. And it is easier for heaven and earth to pass than one tittle of the law to fail. Whosoever putteth away his wife, and marrieth another, committeth adultery. And whosoever marrieth her that is put away from her husband, committeth adultery. There was a certain rich man, which was clothed in purple and fine linen, and fared sumptuously every day. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate, full of sores, and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came, and licked his sores. And it came to pass that the beggar died, and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. The rich man also died, and was buried. And in hell he lift up his eyes, being in torments, and seeth Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom. And he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus, that he may dip the tip of his finger in water, and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. But Abraham said, Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receivedest thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. But now he is comforted, and thou art tormented. And beside all this, between us and you there is a great gulf fixed, so that they which would pass from hence to you cannot, neither can they pass to us that would come from thence. Then he said, I pray thee therefore, Father, that thou wouldest send him to my father's house. For I have 5 brethren, that he may testify unto them, lest they also come into this place of torment. Abraham saith unto him, They have Moses and the prophets, let them hear them. And he said, Nay, Father Abraham, but if one went unto them from the dead, they will repent. And he said unto them, If they hear not Moses and the prophets, neither will they be persuaded, though one rose from the dead.